Good morning, everyone. My name is Umakant Baretti. I'm a PhD student at University of Technology, Sydney, and today I'll be presenting a part of my research work on impact of source separation of urine on effluent quality, energy consumption, and greenhouse gas emissions of a decentralized wastewater treatment plant. To give a brief outline of my presentation, I'll start with some background on my research topic, followed by some of the research gaps that we have identified, and a case study we performed to address these research gaps, and some of our findings in this case study, and finally concluding with some acknowledgements. Let's get started by understanding the conventional nutrient cycle. The process of making chemical fertilizer involves extraction of nitrogen through fixation and phosphorus through mining. These nutrients help us in growing crops and enter our human bodies through the food that we intake. Most of these nutrients leave the human body through our urine, and this is one of the reasons for waste and pollution. However, this nutrient cycle has got few challenges. That e- energy intensive fertilizer production. The process of extracting nutrients, especially nitrogen through fixation, is energy intensive, which leads to about 1 to 2% of the global carbon emissions. And the demand for fertilizer is expected to grow by 3 to 5% every year due to the growing population growth. And we are heavily dependent on this process, this energy intensive process to meet the chemical fertilizer demand. Depleting phosphorus reserves. Models predict that uh, we will be running out of phosphorus reserves over the next couple of years. And the when we look at the global distribution of phosphorus reserves, it is mostly concentrated in some of these countries, and countries like Australia are still heavily dependent on imports from these countries to meet their phosphorus demand. And this is a major challenge because having no phosphorus means having no food. Environmental pollution and effects. Our bodily nutrients fertilize harmful algal blooms, which have been leading to increase in dead zones over the past years. And this increase in dead zones has a negative impact on the aquatic life. Some of this conventional nutrient cycle is broken or non-cyclic, energy intensive, at the same time unsustainable. In this regard, I would like to share a few interesting facts. Human urine produced per day can grow wheat for a loaf of bread. And human urine produced from whole of Australia has sufficient nutrients to feed 20% of the total population. To this nutrient cycle when you divert urine. So instead of discharge, you divert, process, and use it back to grow crops. You're closing the loop, reducing the energy for fertilizer production, at the same time making the process sustainable. Try to look at the contribution of urine to wastewater. Urine contributes to about only 1% of the total wastewater volume. But this 1% of the total 1% of the volume contributes to about 80% of the nitrogen and about 55% of the phosphorus in wastewater. In a typical wastewater flow, all these nutrients end up enter the wastewater treatment plant, and the typical targets of the plant are to remove nitrogen, phosphorus, organics, and pathogens. However, one of the challenging parts of this process is nitrogen removal. Nitrogen removal involves nitrification and denitrification process where ammonia in wastewater is converted to nitrite and nitrate and thereon removed as nitrogen gas. However, one of the challenging parts of this process is that it requires extensive aeration for conversion of ammonia to nitrate, which consumes about 40 to 60% of the total energy consumption. And this process also requires recirculation, which increases the space requirement of the plant. This process releases about 0.4 to 4% of the influent nitrogen as nitrous oxide, which is a global warming, which leads to global warming. So, One way to tackle this problem is by diverting urine, where you remove a major part of nitrogen from the wastewater flow. And this process is expected to have an impact on parameters like energy consumption, greenhouse gas emissions, and treatment capacity of the treatment plant. Understanding how it impacts these parameters and quantifying these factors is the focus of my research work. This research work, we did a case study on Sydney Centre Park wastewater treatment plant. It is located in the basement of Centre Park Mall. It is an advanced and decentralized wastewater treatment plant comprising biological and membrane treatment process. And the target of the plant is to recycle wastewater, which can be reused. The significance of this work is that commercial buildings like Centre Park are given star rating based on their water consumption, GHG emissions, and energy consumption. Obtaining high star ratings is desirable because it provides government incentives. Hence, in order to obtain high star rating, the idea of decentralized wastewater treatment plant in buildings like in commercial buildings like Centre Park has become popular and is gaining popularity. However, an understanding on the effect of urine diversion on decentralized wastewater treatment plants like Centre Park is still missing and needed. We performed this research work on BioWind modeling platform, which is used by most of the water utilities in Australia. The model input was Centre Park wastewater treatment plant configuration, which was calibrated and validated with the real data from Centre Park. And the model output was energy consumption, treatment capacity, and greenhouse gas emission. Validated the model with real data from Centre Park wastewater treatment plant for the effluent quality and energy consumption. And we found that modeling values and the real values were within less than 10% error range value. Here are some of our simulation results that we have observed. So our models predict that 33% of energy reduction is possible with urine diversion, because by diverting urine, the amount of nitrogen coming into the plant is reduced, which would significantly reduce the oxygen demand needed. Second, the greenhouse gas emissions were also reduced by 25%, because the amount of nitrification and denitrification happening is also reduced. Third, the treatment capacity of the plant was increased by 200%, because having less nitrogen coming into the system had an impact on the required hydraulic retention time of the system. Fourth, the nutrient discharge costs were also reduced by 23%, because the amount of nitrogen going in as sludge waste was also reduced by urine diversion. To conclude, we have given proof of concept that urine diversion can lead us towards efficient wastewater management in a decentralized setting like Centre Park by having a positive impact on these three parameters. At the same time, lead us towards efficient nutrient recovery. So I would like to conclude by acknowledging my supervisor, Dr. Sharup Funshu, and my co-supervisor, Professor Hokyong Chong, and my lab members uh, for their constant support in my research. And I would also like to acknowledge CESC Organizing Committee for giving me this wonderful opportunity to share my research, and Altogether Group for helping us with the wastewater treatment plant data.